The new stumbling block. Esau is not the so-called white man. Giving all praises to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua B'Shem Kakwadash. I was listening, and I heard this before, but I was going through the different videos last night, and I came across FOPE, FOPE. If you put FOPE in the YouTube search engine, you'll get that group. That they weren't officially a part of what's the group, HODC, but they were a part of the HODC. They did camps together, unity camps, and like I've said before, and other apostles, bishops, elders, up and coming brothers, up and coming elders have said that unity camps is not the way to go. Really, a unity camp is really wickedness, because you got 3 or 4 camps coming together, and if they got different camps and they're not one camp under one name, it's obvious that they have differences in their own personal doctrine. Because what they do is they'll take the doctrine of the truth from the scriptures, and they'll come up with their own doctrine. So you got 4 different camps, and they all have, one camp might teach one thing. They might all agree with them being Israelites, but you got camps that teach that the so-called the Northern Kingdom is not they're not Indians, that all the tribes are so-called black people. Now that's something that FOPE teaches. So I'm watching a live feed, and there's a guy cursing them guys out, and they even said that these guys sold out. I'm not going to go into that. That's a whole different topic. But I had to kind of bring it back. If you watch the whole video, I don't know how long the video was, but you go to the minute mark. I believe if you go to around the 47 minute mark, if I'm not mistaken, around there, that's when they start talking about it further into the video. Because I'm like saying, did I hear this right? But I heard this before, months ago, maybe a year ago. Because the FOPE, they took a year off, they disappeared, then they came back with whole different doctrine. Like I said, one of the new things that they teach, which is nothing but a stumbling block, that like I said, the tribes are all black, and they say that they're the tribe of Judah. How do they know if they're not the tribe of Levi or the tribe of Gad, since they're all black? Because they go back to the sign. A lot of these guys, they'll come against what we teach and what the 7, the Ariah, high priest Ariah, and them taught. But a lot of them got that same tribe, the same tribe sign. So it's basically a lot of confusion, and basically it's a stumbling block, a major stumbling block. Like you got GOCC. They teach that Edomites can make it. They teach that there's a thing called hell. What else do they teach? Oh, they teach that the mermaids and the Nephilim are angels. They teach all kind of madness, complete madness. The ICGJC, before the Most High took Tazadakia out, if the Lord actually took him out, maybe he's living in Israel somewhere, or Dubai with MJ, Michael Jackson. We don't know, but we'll go by the fact that he died, and he died as a young man. young man. And the Most High took him. Because he wasn't doing the will of the Lord. Even Apostle Paul said he would rather be dead than to be here, but being here, that's for Philippians. Somebody can put it in the description box. I'm not going to go read it verbatim, but I'm paraphrasing. But being here alive is more needful for you. So the Apostle Paul stayed alive because he was needed to push the gospel. And at the end of their lives, that's when the gospel, was closed down before the Most High. You got to understand that the gospel was closed down for 2,000 years. This is an amazing thing. The gospel was closed down for about 2,000 years. That's the 7 churches of Asia Minor that's why John's life was spared, and he was sentenced to the island of Patmos, which is a Greek island. If you look it up, it's one of the islands off of Greece, and that's where the Romans. That was a salt mine that the Romans sentenced you to. They'll either sentence you to death, or they'll sentence you to a salt mine, or they'll sentence you to something else. And you had guys that were in the military that were guys that were sentenced. You either get put to death or you join the military. And the English did that with these, Columbus. A lot of those guys that was on the ship with Columbus, the 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, a lot of those guys were criminals that said if you went on this journey as a crew, when you came back, you were set free. So that goes back as far as you can go into history. Anyway, let me get back into this. So I'm listening to the Fly Fopi stream that they did last night, and I'm like, let me pull it back some, because this one guy was calling in, cursing him. How dare you say that the white Esau is black? And then they're saying, yeah, he's black. If you go, you got to go listen to it. Listen to it for yourself. So I said, okay, I don't got to listen. I'm going to listen to no more. I said, I heard enough. I said, this is madness. The evidence in the scriptures is overwhelming who the Edomites are. Just like the evidence is overwhelming who the Israelites are. Esau, the Edomites, and this is why they're saying that you guys sold out, because Esau doesn't want you to know that he's an Edomite. Why do you think vocab keeps making that statement, oh, the Edomites were done away with? No receipts, no evidence, nothing. He just make this blanket statement that, oh, the Edomites are done away with. So who are these people, these so-called white people that you see today, that are really different shades of red? They're really pale, but the paleness of their skin, you can see the redness coming through. Not like their skin is actually red, but when you look at them, they look red. Some look more redder than others. And they're hairy, as High Priest Ariel would say, very hairy. And they like their meat done a certain way. Esau likes his meat raw. You dealing with a chick, you going out to eat with some chick, and you thinking she's a Jake chick, and she want to order steak, and she'll say, I like it rare. That's a tear right there. If she says she wants it rare, she's a tear. I had to throw that in there. Anyway, I'm going to go into these precepts. I made it easy for myself. I put in the word stumbling block. and I just picked out the precepts dealing with the word stumbling block. Now this is what I'm going to do. Let me do this. Let me do this here. Take the word stumbling block. See what it says in the Hebrew. Okay, the word for stumbling block in the Hebrew is Makah Shawal. Makah Shawal, which comes from the root kashal, which means a stumbling block. Stumbling means of or occasion of stumbling, stumbling block, stumbling, fall, means or occasion of stumbling, stumbling block. It goes on to say a stumbling block, literally or figuratively, obstacle, enticement. So when somebody says, oh, you know, we did this research and fasted and prayed, and Mosai came to us and said that the Edomites are so-called black people, and we got books on it. And another thing I noticed, well, it says enticement, to entice you, to lead you astray, to lead you into error. So now let's go to the precepts. I was going to say something, but it went out of my mind and wasn't important. Anyway, it says Leviticus 19 verse 14, and this is the law. It said, thou shalt not curse the blind, the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind. Now that's talking about a literal stumbling block. Like you see a blind person walking, you take a stone in the ancient world and you put it before him so he can trip over the stone so you can laugh at him. But there's also a spiritual meaning that when you say Edomites can make it, that's a stumbling block. Because there's certain weak, and I'm going to read the precept where it speaks about them, the stumbling block affecting the weak, because you have weak. That's in Romans the 14th chapter, speaks about the weak. Leviticus 19 verse 14 again. Thou shalt not curse the deaf, nor put a stumbling block before the blind, as far as seeing is concerned, and as far as spiritual seeing is concerned. But shall fear thy power, I am Yahweh. And you don't put a stumbling block before somebody, meaning you don't lead them astray, because you're supposed to fear the Lord. So why would you put a stumbling block before somebody? Now you may think you're doing the right thing. That's why the scripture said examine yourself. You got a lot of guys out there, you know, if we at GMS, and really you can go to the other camps, it really started with GMS. We were the ones that went forefront, if that's a word, to put these videos on YouTube, man. And then they put wings on batteries in people's backs to put more videos up on YouTube. But we were the ones that set the trend through the spirit of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai to teach. And everything that we teach, we studied, you know, and we teach the right way. Now, from that time forward, you had certain guys join the camp, then you had other guys just made friends, had their wife make or their mother make a garment with fringes on it. They made a makeshift sign and they just went out there on their own. As they go out on their own, they make up their own doctrines. Next precept, it says Isaiah 57 verse 14, and shall say, cast ye up, prepare the way. And that's what John did. Oh, the ISUPK says that John fell out the truth. They're way off, man. They're way off. It says, take up the stumbling block out of the way of my people, out of the way of Israel. So before we came on the scene, what did our people have, the Israelites have? They had the church system, whether it be Roman Catholic, Baptist, Methodist, and they all was taught that their Jesus, which Jesus is not even a word, that the Lord was white. So if they thinking the Lord was white, well, the angels had to be white, and the Father of the Lord had to be white. So everything in heaven was white. So the so-called white man being on the earth would have to be the direct children of the Most High. So what we, in us teaching, we changed a lot of Jake's minds. And read that again, Isaiah 57 verse 14. And shall say, cast ye up the stumbling block out of the way of my people. The stumbling block is anything that Esau put in front of him. Oh, then Islam came on the scene in the 60s to America through Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm X, Louis Farrakhan, which that's another major stumbling block. Ezekiel 3 verse 20. Again, when a righteous man doeth turn from his righteousness. So you got guys that came that were a part of GMS or even other camps, but mainly with focusing on GMS, that have came through the ranks, learned the scriptures, and then they fell off, got kicked out, and then they just denied everything that they taught. No, y'all got it the wrong. That's the wrong way. This means that, and that means that, and you're going off on that. And not all Edomites will be destroyed, and everything that we taught, they bit by bit went back to their vomit, and that's in 2 Peter 2 verse 22. You can start at 20, and I'm going to read that as well. So we're back in Ezekiel 3 verse 20 again. When a righteous man doeth turn from his righteousness. So through the years we had hundreds of individuals come into this thing, GMS I'm talking about, and go back into the world, and then instead of just going back into the world, they become the top teachers, and their focus is on us. They don't even talk about Esau. They ain't got no. And if you notice, these guys ain't got no problem with Esau. Ain't got no problem with Esau. They just got a problem with us, and committed. And the Most High is going to destroy every last one of them niggas, and committed iniquity and lay a stumbling block before. I lay a stumbling block before them. So why did they go off? Because the Most High laid a stumbling block upon them. He busted holes in their wine bottles, so they began to leak. It says, and I lay a stumbling block before him. He shall die because thou hast not given him warning. So when these guys fall off, we tell them, look, you're going off, man. If you don't get back to the way you were, the Most High is going to destroy you. And the scriptures speak about them waxing worse and worse. Now this is the worst. Esau is not the so-called white man. The Edomites are actually black. Oh my goodness. He shall, and another thing mentioned on Sarnetta, no Israelite should be on giving Sarnetta the time of day. Because Sarnetta's platform is a platform of utter confusion. That's why they have a Kemetic guy, they don't have a Israelite, then they have a Moor. And the audience that are listening are just totally confused. Because he's saying you can pick and choose. You know, you might want to be an Israelite today and a Moor tomorrow and then a Kemet the next day. That's mass confusion. Then you got Sarnetta praising the Israelites. Then the next video he's cursing us out. So you shouldn't give him the time of day. Hey, this guy Captain Tazariak is clearly going off, man. He's clearly going off. But that's because of his leader and himself. He shall die in his sin, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered, but his blood will I require at thine hand, because you're supposed to warn him. Next precept, Ezekiel 14 verse 3, Son of man, these men have set up their idols, which are these false doctrines. There's no such thing. There's a thing called hell, and there are mermaids, and Edomites can make it. Oh, and Edomites are black any damn way. Oh, they're the Arabs. In their heart, in their mind, and put the stumbling block of their iniquity before their face. Should I be inquired at all by them? No, the Most High is not dealing with them, and the Most High is going to destroy them. Romans 11 verse 9. You can actually start from 7. I'm going right to 9. And David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. Matter of fact, let me click on that. I want to go to 7. Romans 11 verse 7. What then? Israel hath not obtained that which he seeketh for, but the election have attained it. The only ones that's going to get this truth are the elect. And the elect are teaching that the mark of the beast is the MOTB is the microchip. But the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded. So the Most High did what? Put a stumbling block before you. 8 verse, Romans 11 verse 8. According as it is written, the Most High have given them the spirit of slumber, eyes that they should not see, and ears that they should not hear unto this day. 9th verse, and David saith, let their table be made a snare and a trap and a stumbling block and a recompense unto them. 10th verse, let their eyes be darkened that they may not see what? The truth, and bow down their back always. Now it says right here, let me go here right quick. It says in Proverbs 23 verse 8, the morsel which thou hast eaten, meaning this truth, you ate this truth. The Most High told Ezekiel, eat this roll and go and teach the children of the sons of Israel. It said the morsel which thou hast eaten shall thou vomit up. So you guys that fall off, you're going to do your own thing. You know more than the apostles know, or the elders and the bishops and so forth, and you're just doing your own thing. That truth that you had, you're going to vomit it right back up. Let me read that again. Proverbs 23 verse 8. The morsel which thou hast eaten shalt thou vomit up and lose thy sweet words. And the sweet words is the truth. So the words that you are eating are dirty, filthy words. You're eating shit, so to speak. It says Proverbs 26 verse 11, as a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly. And that's what you guys are. All you guys are a bunch of fools, man. And you return back to your folly. And this is the worst. Esau is black. That's the new one. Esau is a black man. Isaiah. And then, another thing, when you go to Phobes that video and you go to the comment section, you got people in the comment section say, yeah, those camps are confusing us, man. See, I knew them guys were lying. Isaiah 28 verse 8, for all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Let me go a verse or two above that. I'll go to the 27th verse. Isaiah 28 verse 27. But they also have erred through wine. Wine meaning philosophies. When you're teaching that Edomites are black, they're not the so-called white man, that's mass confusion. And that's part of that dirty wine. And through strong drink are out of the way. They're going off. The priests and the prophets have erred through strong drink, these philosophies. You're going to burn in hell, and mermaids in the kingdom, and the Nephilim are actual angels having sex with men on the earth. They are swallowed up of wine, their false philosophies, and they wax worse and worse, as the scriptures say. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision, they stumble in judgment. 8th verse. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness, so that there is no place clean. Second Peter 2 verse 22. Actually, I'm going to start at 20. For if after they have escaped the pollution of the world through the knowledge of the Lord and our Savior, Yahushua, Yahamashiach, not no goddamn Jesus, man. Jesus is when the Renaissance era came about, it wasn't just pictures, man. It wasn't just icons that they tore down. They came up with their own language. The letter J comes from the Renaissance era. It says they are again entangled therein. They're back in the world, or they're back. You guys said it. Even if you know that you're Israelite and you teaching these wayward doctrines, you're back in the world. You're living in the world of sin. It says, and overcome, the latter end is worse with them than the beginning. It said, for it had been better for them not to have known the way of righteousness than after they have known it, to turn from the holy commandment delivered unto them. But it has happened unto them according to the true proverb. The dog is turned to his own vomit again, and the sow, the pig, that was washed to her wallowing in the mire. So a lot of you go back into Christian, and a lot of you run to like Adiala, that clown. He ran right to Vocab Malone. We got a couple more precepts. Romans 14 verse 13. Let us not therefore judge one another anymore, but judge this rather, that no man put a stumbling block, Esau is a black man, or an occasion to fall in his brother's way. First Corinthians 8 verse 9. But take heed lest by any means this liberty of yours become a stumbling block to them that are weak. So you can always get a weak person that's not well studied or rooted in this thing. You can have them go off. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.